New signals surrounding the Central Bank of Iraq (CBI) and U.S. Treasury coordination are gaining fresh attention in the Iraqi Dinar and RV 2026 community. As Iraq continues working through banking reforms, financial transparency measures, international banking relationships, and efforts to strengthen its financial system, currency watchers are closely examining every development that could potentially influence the future of the Iraqi dinar. In this video, we take a detailed look at the latest discussions surrounding CBI and U.S. Treasury coordination and why these developments are attracting so much attention from Iraqi dinar holders, currency investors, and RV watchers in 2026. The biggest question is simple. Are these developments connected to a future Iraqi dinar revaluation, or are they part of Iraq's broader financial and banking modernization strategy? That distinction is extremely important. Over the past several years, Iraq has been working to improve its banking sector, increase compliance with international financial standards, strengthen correspondent banking relationships, improve transparency, and reduce vulnerabilities within its financial system. These reforms have received significant attention because Iraq's ability to integrate more effectively with the international financial system could have important implications for its currency and economy. The Central Bank of Iraq remains at the center of many of these developments. The CBI has been involved in monetary policy, banking regulation, foreign exchange management, payment system modernization, and broader financial sector reforms. At the same time, the U.S. Treasury has played an important role in financial oversight, sanctions compliance, anti-money laundering measures, and international financial coordination involving Iraq. This is why any new signal involving the CBI and U.S. Treasury immediately attracts attention in the RV community. But there is an important point every viewer should understand. Coordination between financial authorities does not automatically mean that a currency revaluation has been approved, scheduled, or announced. Instead, these developments should be viewed as pieces of a much larger financial picture. Iraq has enormous economic potential. The country possesses substantial oil resources, a large domestic market, strategic geographic importance, and significant opportunities for investment and infrastructure development. However, realizing that potential requires a strong and modern financial system. That is where banking reform becomes particularly important. For years, analysts have discussed the need for Iraqi banks to improve compliance, transparency, digital payments, international connectivity, and financial reporting. These reforms can help Iraqi banks interact more effectively with international financial institutions. The question now being discussed is whether the latest signals indicate that Iraq is moving into another important phase of this process. In this video, we examine why CBI and U.S. Treasury coordination is attracting attention, what banking reforms could mean for Iraq, why international financial connectivity matters, and how these developments are being interpreted by the Iraqi dinar community. We will also discuss one of the biggest misunderstandings surrounding RV news. Many social media posts immediately connect every banking announcement to a specific future exchange rate. Claims involving rates such as $3, $4, $6, $7, $8, or even higher frequently circulate online. However, unless an official authority publishes a new exchange rate, these numbers should be treated as speculation rather than confirmed information. The same applies to claims about secret rates, guaranteed exchange dates, hidden treasury agreements, or supposed activation events. The purpose of this video is not to tell viewers that an RV is guaranteed. Instead, the goal is to understand the financial signals that are actually important. One of those signals is the continued effort to modernize Iraq's banking infrastructure. A modern banking system is essential if Iraq wants to expand international trade, attract foreign investment, improve payment efficiency, and strengthen confidence in its financial institutions. Digital payments are another major part of this transformation. As more transactions move away from cash and toward electronic systems, financial institutions can gain better visibility into transactions. This can support transparency and make it easier to identify suspicious financial activity. For international banks, transparency matters. Correspondent banking relationships depend heavily on trust, compliance, documentation, and risk management. If Iraqi financial institutions can demonstrate stronger compliance and better financial controls, they may have more opportunities to reconnect with international banking networks. This is one reason why CBI reforms are receiving attention from currency watchers. Another important issue is the Iraqi dinar exchange rate system. The exchange rate is ultimately a monetary policy decision, and major changes would normally involve official announcements and clearly documented policy actions. Therefore, viewers should be cautious whenever an online source claims that a major rate change has already happened without providing credible documentation. At the same time, it is reasonable to watch Iraq's financial reforms closely. A stronger banking system can create a better foundation for economic development. It can also help Iraq manage international payments, improve financial inclusion, strengthen investment channels, and support greater confidence in the country's financial institutions. This brings us back to the growing discussion about CBI and U.S. Treasury coordination. Why does this matter? Because financial coordination between countries and institutions can influence how financial systems interact. The United States has significant influence within the global financial system, while Iraq is seeking to strengthen its connections with international markets. Cooperation involving financial compliance, transparency, sanctions enforcement, and banking controls can therefore be strategically important. But again, cooperation does not equal revaluation. This distinction should remain at the center of every serious RV discussion. A country can reform its banking sector without immediately changing its currency's nominal exchange rate. A country can improve international banking relationships without announcing a currency redenomination. A country can modernize digital payments without launching a new currency value. These developments can be connected as part of broader economic modernization, but they should not automatically be interpreted as proof of an imminent RV. So what should Iraqi dinar holders watch next? First, official Central Bank of Iraq announcements. Second, Iraqi government economic and financial decisions. Third, changes to banking regulations. Fourth, developments involving international payment systems. Fifth, improvements in correspondent banking relationships. Sixth, foreign exchange policy changes that are officially documented. Seventh, statements from recognized international financial institutions. These are much more useful than anonymous social media claims. Another major area to watch is Iraq's ability to improve confidence in its banking sector. Public confidence is critical. If people continue to rely heavily on physical cash, banking modernization becomes more difficult. But if digital banking and electronic payments become increasingly trusted and convenient, the financial system can become more efficient. This can also help authorities improve oversight and reduce certain forms of informal financial activity. For currency watchers, this creates an interesting situation. The Iraqi dinar story is no longer simply about an exchange rate. It is increasingly about the infrastructure surrounding the currency. A currency operates within a financial ecosystem. That ecosystem includes banks, payment systems, monetary policy, foreign exchange markets, international settlements, regulations, reserves, government finances, and public confidence. Therefore, when analysts discuss Iraq's financial future, they need to look beyond the headline exchange rate. The banking reforms may ultimately be more important than any individual rumor. This is particularly relevant in 2026 because the global financial environment continues to evolve. Countries around the world are investing in digital payments, financial technology, compliance systems, and faster settlement infrastructure. Iraq cannot remain isolated from these changes. The country's economic future depends partly on its ability to participate more effectively in regional and international financial activity. That is why developments involving the CBI, international banks, and U.S. financial authorities can attract significant attention. However, viewers should avoid emotional decisions based on rumors. If someone claims that a specific exchange rate is guaranteed, ask for the official source. If someone claims that a secret treasury agreement has already triggered an RV, ask for documentation. If someone claims that banks have already received instructions to exchange dinars at a specific rate, ask whether a recognized financial institution has publicly confirmed it. This approach can help separate legitimate financial developments from speculation. Another important topic is the role of Iraq's foreign exchange reserves and broader fiscal position. The value and stability of a currency are influenced by many economic factors. Oil revenues remain particularly important for Iraq because the country's economy is heavily dependent on the energy sector. Oil prices, Government spending, imports, exports, reserves, inflation, and monetary policy can all influence economic conditions. Therefore, a future change in the exchange rate regime would be a major economic decision rather than simply a banking announcement. This is why serious observers should look for multiple signals rather than relying on one headline. If several independent developments point in the same direction, such as stronger banking compliance, improved international connectivity, monetary policy changes, increased transparency, and official statements, then the overall picture becomes more meaningful. One isolated rumor, however, should not be treated as confirmation. This video also explores why the phrase, CBI and U.S. Treasury coordination, has become such a powerful topic within the RV community. The reason is understandable. For years, Iraqi dinar holders have expected Iraq to eventually become more integrated into the global financial system. Any development suggesting stronger international financial coordination therefore attracts enormous attention. But expectations and official policy are two different things. The Iraqi dinar community has seen countless predictions about specific dates and rates over the years. Some predictions were based on genuine economic developments, while others were based almost entirely on speculation. The safest approach is to follow documented developments. If an official exchange rate change occurs, it should eventually be visible through authoritative financial channels. If a major monetary policy decision occurs, credible financial institutions and news organizations should report it. If international banking rules change, there should be regulatory or institutional evidence. This is the standard viewers should use when evaluating RV news in 2026. Another reason these developments matter is Iraq's long-term goal of strengthening its economy beyond dependence on cash transactions and informal markets. A modern financial system can make economic activity easier to measure, regulate, and support. Banks can play a greater role in financing businesses. Electronic payments can reduce transaction costs. Improved compliance can increase international confidence. Better banking infrastructure can support foreign investment. And stronger financial institutions can help create the foundation for sustainable economic growth. All of these developments matter even if no immediate RV occurs. That is perhaps the most important message of this video. The financial transformation happening in Iraq should be followed independently of currency rumors. If the Iraqi dinar eventually experiences a significant change in its exchange rate structure, the groundwork supporting that change would likely involve much more than one announcement. It would involve monetary policy, banking regulation, economic conditions, international relationships, and market confidence. That is why today's signals deserve attention, but also caution. For Iraqi dinar holders, the best strategy is to remain informed without allowing excitement to replace evidence. Watch the Central Bank of Iraq. Watch official Iraqi government announcements. Watch developments involving international financial institutions. Watch banking reforms. Watch foreign exchange policy. And most importantly, verify major claims before acting on them. The discussion surrounding CBI and U.S. Treasury coordination may continue to grow as Iraq's financial reforms develop. Whether these developments eventually contribute to a major currency transformation is something that can only be determined by official policy and economic evidence. For now, the most reasonable conclusion is that Iraq's financial system continues to be an important area to monitor. The story is bigger than a single exchange rate. It is about Iraq's position within the international financial system. It is about banking modernization. It is about transparency. It is about compliance. It is about digital payments. It is about international connectivity. And it is about whether Iraq can build a financial infrastructure capable of supporting its long-term economic ambitions. That is why the latest signals are attracting so much attention. As we move through 2026, every verified development from the CBI and other financial authorities could provide additional information about the direction of Iraq's monetary and banking policies. But until an official announcement confirms otherwise, claims about a specific RV date or exchange rate should remain classified as speculation. If you are following the Iraqi dinar, make sure you stay focused on facts rather than hype. Subscribe to the channel for more updates on Iraqi dinar news, Central Bank of Iraq developments, Iraq banking reforms, U.S. Treasury-related financial developments, exchange rate policy, international banking, and RV 2026 analysis. Turn on notifications so you do not miss future updates. And remember, this video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Nothing in this video should be interpreted as confirmation of an Iraqi dinar revaluation, a guaranteed exchange rate, or a guaranteed future return. Always verify important financial information through official and reliable sources before making any financial decision. Thanks for watching.